Hello everyone, in this video we'll be discussing about how can we use where condition in our Eloquent model. So let's get started. First of all, let's fetch our all data. For that we have to call our model, then we can say all method, and that gonna fetch our all data from our database. Now let's go to our browser. We'll go to our home route, and you can see we're getting the data, right? Now we will use where condition in it. Let's go to our query. Instead of all method, I will say where method. Okay, so in our query builder video we saw how can we use where method, right? So same, we can use where method like that. First of all, we have to specify the column name, as we know. Let's go to our database manager first. Let's see our datas. Let's say I will take this view column, views, then as we know next argument will be a operator. So let's say in string I will say greater than, and at the last argument it will be value, right? So value I will say 100. So now we will grab all the posts which values are greater than 100. Okay, so by condition we will be getting these two rows from our database, right? Because these two views are greater than 100. Okay, let's see. After that we have to pass another method, that is get method. This method will get our all data from the database. So why didn't we use all? Because all only grabs the all data from the database. If you use where condition all or any other methods in our query, we can't use all method. We have to use our old get method. Now let's see, if I go to my front end and refresh again, you can see we are getting only 2 posts. And if you can notice here, the views is 300 and this one is 115, right? So these two views are greater than 100, that's why we are getting these two values. If I say is equals to 100, so that gonna return only one row, because we have only one row that have views count 100, right? And if I go to again refresh, you can see we are now getting only one row that have 100 views in it. Okay, so that's how you can use where condition. And again, if you want to chain the method, you can add another where condition here and put some logic here. Let's say now I want to say before that let's change this condition. I will again go with greater than. So we are grabbing the post who have greater than 100 views in them. So in this where I will specify the ID, like let's say for just example where ID is, let's say ID is 61. Okay, now if I go again and say is equals to 61. Now if I go to my browser and refresh again, you can see we're getting only one data. Now we are using 2 where condition in our single query. Okay, first one is saying that the row that we are grabbing have to be greater than 100 views. Then we are chaining another method, another where method. In there we are saying that the ID have to be 61, right? So both of the queries are working. Like if I change this 61 to 64, which doesn't exist in our database, and refresh, you can see we are not getting anything. The page is empty. So that's how you can chain your where conditions. Now I want to show you another method, which is or where method. Let's remove this part, or just we can copy this and paste it here and let's comment it out. And instead of this condition, I will add another condition that will be or where, sorry, okay, there is a or where condition. Now let's say add a condition here. I'll be adding the condition same as before. It will be is equals to, and let's say the ID will be 61, right? So what is the difference between this query and this query? Let's see. Let's comment it out. Let's uncomment the first one. Now if I go to front end and refresh, you can see we are getting one data. We are checking two conditions. First is the views have to be greater than 100, and second is the ID have to be 61. That's why we are getting the row which ID is 61, right? So if I now say 68, which is not exist in our database, as you can see, we didn't get any kind of data because first condition is true, but the second condition is false. That's why we are not getting anything. In this kind of wire chain, if any of the wire condition gets false, the query won't run. It will throw empty array. But in second case, we are using or wire method, not solid wire method. So what is or wire method? If this first query return you true, that's totally fine. If it return you false, then this query will run. Okay, if this query return you true, then you will get the data. If even this query also fails, then you will not get any kind of data. Let's see. If I go to front end and refresh, we are getting two values now, because at the first condition we said grab all the posts who have greater than 100 views, right? So we are not checking this condition yet because our first condition is true. It's working like if else if you work with PHP if else if, like if, then we also say else if, right? So if this first if gets true, sorry, then it will run this block of code, right? But if it gets false, then instead of this block, it will run the second one, right? So this wire and or wire condition is working like this. If the first condition gets true, so we will grab data from first condition, and but if that fails, then we will run our second condition, right? So now if we add a false condition like here 400, so views have to be greater than 400. If I go to my database manager, you can see in views we don't have greater than 300 values. We don't have any kind of values that is greater than 400, right? Our max value is 300. So currently this condition is false. If I go to my front end and refresh, but we are still getting one data. This data is coming from this wire condition because this wire condition is true, right? Now similar way, if I uncomment this one and put 61 here, so this condition and this condition is same, but if I make first condition 400 false, now if I go to my front end and refresh, we'll get a empty array. Because this kind of wire chaining, the all wire method have to be true, then you will get the data. But in case you want something that if the first condition fails, I will run the second condition, so on, so you can use or wire method. So I think you understand the concept. So for this video, that's it. We will talk more about Eloquent models in our upcoming videos. Till then, bye.